Hi everyone, welcome back to art. Last week we created this, which is the start of our next artwork. We made a circle and we drew 4 lines of symmetry on it. As a reminder, 2 weeks ago we made an artwork that was symmetrical like this. It had 1 line of symmetry. I know that something is symmetrical if I have a line of symmetry down the middle and whatever I have on this side matches what's on that side. It's the same shapes on each side. There's the same number of shapes, the same size shapes, and the same color on each side. When I fold it in half, those pieces line up. Now, we are taking our artwork a step further this week. Instead of just having 1 line of symmetry, we actually have 4 lines of symmetry, which means whatever I draw in this pie piece, I have to draw in all of my pie pieces, so that if I fold my artwork on 1 line of symmetry, those pieces will line up. On the second line of symmetry, they'll line up. On all 4 lines of symmetry, those designs should line up. That is called radial symmetry, since the lines of symmetry move around a circle. All right, so this week, we are adding designs inside of our pie pieces. I'm going to start by just adding designs in 1 pie piece, and then I'll repeat them in the rest. So, I think I'm going to start with, let's see, I can add lines or shapes. I think I'm going to add this 1, 2, kind of a spike line. See how I did that? It almost looks like a letter M. Now, if I added a letter M in that pie piece, I need to turn my paper and add a letter M in this pie piece. I also want it to be symmetrical, so I want to make sure it's the same size letter M. I'm not going to draw my letter M this tall because it wouldn't match that one. So I'm starting in the same spot. I wouldn't start down here. I wouldn't start up here. I'm starting in the same spot I ended. I'm drawing a letter M that's about the same height. See how it didn't get too much taller or too much smaller? Now I turn my paper. I'm going to repeat it again. A letter M, the same size. Turn my paper again. Turn my paper. I'm always starting in the same spot. I wouldn't start my letter M way up here because that's not what I did before. I need to repeat my designs the same way for it to be symmetrical. And I'm turning my paper and doing it one last time. All right. I'm always so impressed when I finish all the way around the circle. All I did was draw a simple letter M, but look how cool it looks when it's repeated 8 times. I kind of made this like explosion shape, or maybe a flower shape. You could look at it too. And that's a really cool thing about this artwork, is when it's repeated over and over again, a very simple shape could end up looking really complicated or really detailed. So let's add some more. Okay, now I think I'm going to add, instead of this M shape, I think I'll add like a teardrop shape. That sounds cool to me. So I'm going to start in the same place I did before in that letter M, and I'm going to come up and back down. So it's almost like a petal shape. My design's starting to look like a flower, and that's okay. Now I'm going to turn my paper. I'm going to start in the same spot on this pie piece. I'm going to try to make a petal that's about the same size and shape, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way around my circle. Okay, now I think I'm going to add a top of a triangle into the center right here. So see how I'm coming up and then back down to a point, turning my paper, going to do the same thing in every spot. All right, I'm really liking my design so far. All I did in each one was add a little point, a letter M, and 1 petal. But when I repeated that in all 8 sections, it's really starting to look like this flower. Your design does not have to look like a flower because you might be drawing other types of lines. All right, I do have a lot of space here still, so I think I'm going to add one more thing up here, And then I'm going to go in and add smaller shapes. So let's see. Excuse me. I think this time I'll start my line right here in the middle of this line. And I think I'll do a bumpy line that has 1, 2, 3, 4 bumps on it. If I did 4 bumps in this pie piece, how many bumps do I have to do in this one? 4. They have to match. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next, I've added a lot of large shapes. Now I'm going to go in and add some medium and some small shapes. I'll speed this up so you don't have to sit too long watching me draw. But when I'm grading your artwork, I'm also going to look for if you added large, medium, and small shapes. So like this petal, this big starburst shape, and these bumpy lines that made a shape are all really large shapes. This one in the center is more of a medium shape. I'm going to add some more medium, and I'm going to add some small details too. Whatever I add in one pie piece, I have to repeat in the other pieces so that it is symmetrical all the way around. Alright, I think I am done with my design. So you can see what I added. I went and added 2 circles in every pie piece, and I tried to add them in the same spot. I added 3 triangles that are small along the top of every pie piece. I went back in and I added another kind of like petal or spike above the letter M. And I added a diamond around every piece right there. I like the way my design looks now, so I think I'm going to stop. I made sure it's symmetrical, and I repeated everything in every pie piece, and I have big, medium, and small shapes in all of them. When you are done with your design, make sure you show me a photo or video on Schoology, and I want you to point out what your big, medium, and small shapes are so that I can see them and grade you the right way. So I'll show you mine now. I would say, hi, Miss Bruce, here's my artwork for this week. I used big shapes such as these petals right here or this kind of large star. I used medium shapes like this medium-sized star in the middle. And I use small shapes like these little triangles, the circles, and the diamond. All right, that's it. Next week we will add color.